Good day, Tamers. Welcome back to some more exciting Christmassy things with me, Agita Swiftly. I don't really think really too interesting for Christmas this year, just because our Christmas stuff got released in November, so there's no like EX set to open for Christmas this year. Maybe next year, EX5 maybe. But Bandai did sort of ask the question to the community: "Hey, what decks did you like in this color over the last year?" Which made me kind of do a little bit of like a ranty thing, which we'll be doing continually for the rest of the week. So if you are on the Bandai Twitter, you will see me kind of like giving a reason for why things are things this week or so. So please enjoy my ramblings. They are meant to be a bit more for fun, even if they do seem serious. But we're going to do red today. So we're going to go red, blue, yellow, green, black, purple, because that's the actual order of cards. Even though I always think it should be green, yellow, purple, black for whatever reason. My brain thinks that. I don't know why. But if you're new here and you would like to help make the channel better, subscribe, like if you actually enjoyed this, and leave comments of what you actually played, if you did play in red during this year, or what set you started at if you did start new this year, and just that's what you enjoyed about this year. As I said, we'll be doing one video for every colour, so we should be getting 6 videos. There'll be no white, because there's no white deck in this year, because the E-Summon deck... No! Ah, crap, no, D-Mother, damn it, no, so maybe we'll have to do one white deck, because it's the only white deck. So, yeah, let's jump into the video. Good day, Tamers, with Bandai doing a what was the best deck of each colour currently on Twitter and Facebook. I thought I'd join in and do a bit more of a comprehensive readout of what actually happened during these colours and timeframes of everything going on. So, like they did, we'll start off with red, do blue, yellow, green, purple, and black. Black did not do a lot of things for a lot of the year. Let's just put it that way. So, with red, we start off with a BT7, which, for those of you who aren't aware, because if you're newer to the game, hello, hybrid was the big thing at the time, and a little bit of support for Mr. Digimon, which had one top in BT6 and then was taken away from somebody because they were caught cheating, because quite a few people who won it during BT5, BT6 were actually caught cheating, so that's really, really awkward. So Kapori, didn't see him play. Tigermon, could have seen him play. 2-cost rookie. Rookie Rush Red and Yellow was a thing at one point for like half a day. Flamon, on play, reveal top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 code hybrid in traits and 1 Sosanamon. Takoya Kanabara, amongst them to your hand, place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. This will be fantastic in the new deck when we get it in BT12, which will be, I believe, April-ish? End of April, beginning of May, depending on when they actually want to place it, / when things come out with the whole, travel boats thing. A lot of this didn't see much play. Metal Grandma stuff didn't see play. Hybrid saw some play for a little bit. Alderman effect that just says basically don't activate option cards is just still one of the best cards in the game. A shame that it's attached to hybrids. Well, again, BT12, we'll see some differences hopefully. Avenger Kidmon, still a staple in a lot of security control decks. Chaos Dramon, one of the big things that happened here. To be fair, BT12 does look to be shaping up Chaos / Machine want to be a bit more aggressive. Takuya, super cool card. Flaming Roost, didn't see any play at all. Fire Drake Strike, saw no play whatsoever. Geekstorm, saw no play whatsoever. And then we have these campaign cards that were just a pain for whatever reason they wanted to put them in here as extra places, which took rare slots rather than SR slots, thank God. But in doing so, really screwed up the ratios on the rares of the boxes, which means that when you normally have to only buy 2 boxes to get your full rare sets, sometimes normally, you'd have to probably buy 3 or 4 just to actually try and cover the amount of rares that you were missing. BT8. Fantastic set, probably one of the funner sets. Unfortunately, Blue Hybrid was still running around stabbing everyone in the back, because who knew that stunning people for every single part of the game once you hit 1 tummy in security would just be the death of your deck. Digimon still seen today in any deck that can really run red that wants to have 6k or above, so essentially any red deck. Kessimon, again, super cheap red option. Even though they hate Rookie Rush, they keep printing 2-cost cards because they think that's a good idea. One day this might be good, but for all I know, it's not. Alright, try again. Your turn, once per turn. When you play a red team, draw a card. It's not awful, not fantastic, not amazing, although we did just get more support in the reprint set, as it is a Ghost Game set on the other half of that set. Hawkmon has seen very little play because the red parts of this just didn't do much, because essentially it was all around Vmon hopefully one day we'll get a retrain of some of these and actually get some workable decks, because Kingdom unfortunately won't really see much play because you don't really run any of this anymore. Cyclone did see a little bit of play for a while just because it's delete with your opponent's once you've had DP or less. It was essentially a meta pick for Armor Rush, so you basically just get rid of the Vs that were searching. Beetle Blitz is just an amazing card in general, especially on a level 4, but then you can add this underneath the stack soon and then give this ability to the rest of your Gammon line. What's to not love? 6-cost Ultimate, fantastic card, just throw it down. Sylph had some gameplay choices at one point or another, but quickly wore off. And Master Tyrannomon here giving Secure Attack +1 to others Tyrannomons in the names, as well as giving it as a source ability as well. Very expensive card, but just actually a really good card in general. Ultimate Brachymon. This was the bane of some pre-release because it's 13k beat stick. Fairly easy to get into, especially if you drop this for 6. They couldn't do anything about this, and then you jump into this for 3 more. Marsmon, the actual bane of any pre-release, because who knew that when you only pull one baby or 1 or 2 babies out of your packs, that Marsmon's just going to punch everything in the head. And then we have effects like this that do say, like, when the opponent's Digimon gets minus 5,000 DP for the turn, you ain't doing a lot. So they did errata how you do play pre-release, because pre-release is specifically a Western thing, not a Japanese thing at all, as far as well as Ian changed. That we can now put rookies into the breeding pool, 6 babies, obviously. How many babies you have, and then an amount into rookies. So Quaimon seems like a really good card until you realise that it doesn't really solve any issues unless you're going to have a sideboard. But again, it doesn't necessarily solve any issues. Yoli didn't really see you play. Hero Memory Setter, for those of you who need a Memory Setter in red, not too bad. And then when you have a Digimon with Gamma or level 5, gain 2000 DP. Tap it. Not a bad ability. Fire Rockets sees some play in Armor Rushes because it's not too bad to have the extra secure attack. It also stays on the stack, so if you do swing for 2, pop off your armor and have to swing with the Vmon, it continues swinging. Top Gun, didn't see any play whatsoever as far as I'm aware. And then Crimson Blaze is still used to this day because it's such a good card that I'm surprised they haven't. EX2 was the next set that we saw, kind of, maybe, depending on where you lived. And it really only introduced one thing, and that was Guilmon and Gallantmon. Looked like it was going to do something really cool. We had the most beautiful alt art baby I've seen, and I can't wait to see what they do with more of these beautiful geese, because it's just so amazing and fantastic. The Guilmon looks better than the actual alt art for some strange reason, and the Groundmon here just doing what it wants to do. Having a deck built around deletion is fantastic until you realise that if you can't delete anything, the deck doesn't do anything. There's also a third card for this here, which is an alt from the DC Cup that will set you back at £800 if you actually want to get one. Mega Digimon, probably the best Mega from this set here. If you've seen recently, we do have the beautiful Magi Mill deck coming out in EX4. Thank the Lord, I can't wait to play Mill and be terrible at it. Chikato here, just probably the thing what the deck needed the most, which is giving Blitz, because the biggest issue with Gallantmon is they were all quite costly, at least the good ones were. So going over into your opponents, possibly deleting something, gaining a memory back to go back to 0, and then swinging out with Gallantmon was the plan to go. Offensive Plug-in A gives security attack for 2, as long as you've got a Tamer in play, you don't have to worry about its colour identity, which is actually fairly good, because a few decks actually do run this one. Occasionally Imperial would run it, and I think I've heard occasionally Sakuya would run it, but that's just because they enjoy running the plugins as it's part of their deck package. More on that when we get to Yellow in a couple of days' time. Fireball, probably one of the best draw cards we have in this game. For the cost of 2, you draw 2 cards as long as you don't have an opponent with 3000 DP or less, so you don't accidentally delete their Digimon. Because 9 times out of 10, you prefer the draw than murdering a poor little defenseless Digimon. And Crimson Mode, being this goddamn giant, hunky stack guy over here, has a very similar effect to the BT2 Gallantmon, but a little bit better, and obviously with the Takatos having the access to Blitz, makes things go. Moving on to BT9. Red itself didn't do too much in its own package, but was very helpful in the upcoming rise of Black or Greymon, which will be the only thing Black really did that well this year. Dual-coloured cards are awkward to sort of discuss. Coromon here being a fantastic baby for the decks that just see typo names, and gaining the extra DP did help. Again, another 2-cost red card for whatever reason. Again, they hate them, but they still print them. Saw no player as far as I'm aware. I go on searching for a Greymon, an Omnimon, or an X-Antibody. Is just an amazing card. It's recently had a buyout, kind of, or had a price adjustment. So for those of you who are holding onto these and looking to make some money, make some money. And then the X antibody line, just increasing the DP values that we already saw before, trying to make things explode into bounce. Negation from X antibody Greymon is amazing. The X antibody Shoutmon I thought was going to be what we're going to see in BT10. It was not, and I was disappointed because I really did love the BT5 version of Shoutmon. War Growl had an interesting effect here where you'd give something an effect that if it was deleted, you'd gain memory from it. Miller X here did see a little bit of the old security gain and damage buff, so you'd be able to punch over things, and in black, War Greymon makes things a lot more easier. War Greymon had a chance of being amazing, but unfortunately it fell on its own feet, because if you hit something in security, you die and wouldn't gain the effect of at the end of attack. Galvan X, again, one of these cards that they tried to do what they could with it, but they just made it a bit too weak, again, as I have said for a long time. Galvan is, for some reason, the greenest deck in red, where it wants to have a battle control, but unfortunately, if there's nothing on the field, you're not controlling anything, and you just don't do anything instead. Donarix are very useful in pre-release, and that's probably about it for that card. Tai and Kari, a very useful tamer that allows you to gain memory depending on the state of security on both sides, and then reducing the DP of security on your opponent's side. Fire Rock Soul, I believe, didn't have any play at all, and then Megalo Blaster, I think, was played for a very small time, thinking it'd be really good, and then Gaia Force Zero, which is Gaia Force at home, although it has the wonderful cost reduction if you have a X antibody available in the delete sources, or delete one of your opponent's Digimon with free 13,000 DP or less, then, or if your Digimon with Greymon in its name may attack your opponents. Has to be unsuspended. The idea of the card is pretty fairly good. I do like it. It's just not as good as you wish it was actually going to be. Then we go on to BT10. Red stuff here. We didn't see much play from Demi here. This did get teched into a little bit of the Shoutmon stuff before people realised that you didn't have to worry about it so much. Shoutmon being a very interesting card, giving of a Digimon with Shoutmon in the name's Rush is just a fantastic ability. Shoutmon X4 is now at 1 because it's just too much of a good card. It may cost you 1 to play, but you drew 2 cards. At the end of attack, you may put things under something else, and if you implode, you just put things under things else. Either way. Ashuramon didn't see any play. Kana Weiss will probably be seeing play now that we're getting more access to the Gamamon stuff in RB1. It's a fairly good card. It does allow for extra attacking, and with attacking you get security attack, and then it also all turns, it lets you absorb the effects of all of the under Gamamon names into this Digimon, making it quite more effective. Any of the B forms just didn't see any play whatsoever. X5 is your top end damage boy. It can be played for 0, depending on how lucky you are, what it is you're doing. Secret attack +1 with blocker and material save free. Fairly interesting card. Deck's not dead. Deck's just in a bit of a weird place currently. Pulverkinemon, again, a card that didn't see much play at all, if any, maybe in pre-release, and that is get Blitz. Blitz is always fantastic, and this Digimon has 2,000 DP on your turn, so 13k Blitzing Beat Stick can be quite interesting. Again, another B card that's seen no play and probably will not see any play. Jesmon X Antibody was just finishing off the Jesmon deck that came out prior to this set, or for us, came out at the same time. The card does add a bit more interaction to the deck to make some of the other cards a bit more interesting, or for instance, the system in this one that lets you play a Raw Knight on top of a Raw Knight, because Raw Knight. Tycho, very interesting card, letting you look for the cards you need with X Hearts in their traits, and then obviously stacking them and putting them underneath yourself. All cards are lovely. Bearclaw probably be played a bit more often now that we have got more access to the Gamon stuff. And then Here's the Skies was played in the X Hearts deck, just because Screw Attack's nice, draw 2 is always nice. 2 for 2 is fairly good priced. Burning Star Crusader, I think people do play this as a tech choice into the decks, but generally 9 out of 10 you never get to use it because you either don't have anything on the field or you don't want to pass the turn over to your opponent by nuking one thing on their board. King, everyone complained about, even though it's a fantastically good card. Let you see this here. Essentially, it is a free K. Sorry, let's try again. It's a free cost Shoutmon that you can give it Rush because you put Shoutmon underneath it. Material save 1, which means you'll get your rushing Shoutmon back if you can save it. And then on play, you return a piece of tech back to your hand. 9 times out of 10, it would be X4 or X5. And I don't understand why people think this is a terrible card. And then GX here is just more of a package when you want to start mixing in with the Jankos and the Jesmon stuff to make this kind of awesome, very weird level 7 Jank deck that may or may not be looking good for the BT11 format. Then finally, EX3 turned up. We have a Dragon Dinosaur Saurus named deck that kind of does whatever it wants to. We have Repurple Imperial, which doesn't do anything currently because it's in a very weird state of play because they don't know what to do with it. We have Dragon Lynx. No, not the Yu-Gi-Oh version. Definitely a Digimon version. In this version, it's the red and black dragons from Lynx themselves. And as you can see, nothing really happened here. Beautiful art, though. And then we have the newest Chaosdramon, which will be happy to see its X-body counterpart in BT12. Dobripmon, though, looks to suck things up willy-nilly, has Rush on play, can delete something with 3000 DP, and then for every source with Dinosaur or Saurus in its name, will give, in its traits, will give it an extra 2000 DP to delete. So it can delete something of 13k, which is quite a lot of the megas you'll find in this set. And that is it for Red, essentially, from January. Hope you guys have enjoyed this today. We're going over Blue soon. And with that being said, we'll see you guys next time for more interesting why the meta hated everything other than Blue. Peace out and goodbye. See you Tamers soon. Peace.